Hi guys, so in today's video I would love to talk to you about our perception and the meaning we assign to certain situations and circumstances and how it matters in our life, and also about my recent experience that really made me realize how much of an importance we are putting into things, meanings, and our perception, and how that changes the whole situation. So if you've ever been in a situation where your, let's say, outside circumstances were not ideal, I want you to watch this video, because by the end of this video you will know exactly how to change your outlook and your perspective about any situation that you are currently finding yourself in. I would love to start with the first slide, which is going to be explaining how we perceive the outside circumstances and how it differs from the inside experiences, okay? So the outside, this is basically the outside, okay? This is our outside circumstances. So whatever is happening in our life, it might be a bit stormy, it might be a bit not ideal, it might be something that's going on in our life that we are literally not happy about, okay? So the outside is not ideal. It is full of storm, it is full of things happening, and we are not happy about it. So on the outside, it is the storm. And on the inside, we have the flame. So this is the flame. I'm gonna make it a different color. So this is the fire, right? This is the flame on the inside, the burning. And this is the inside. So this is the inside of us. Inside. Basically, from the beginning, very beginning of our life, all of us are trained to be looking at the reality from the perspective of the outside circumstances and from the outside situation. So whatever we see, perceive, feel, sense, and perceive as our reality, so the outside here in this situation, it's a storm. Because most often than not, we perceive situations in a negative sort of way. There is always going to be something happening on the outside, which is pretty much out of our control. Out of control. So the outside circumstances are pretty much out of our control. So of course, we are not going to be able to control that. It's the same. We can use the same metaphor as if I'm losing here the storm. You cannot control the weather, right? You just accept that it is stormy today, and you will adjust your situation, you will adjust your plans accordingly. So we cannot control the weather, we cannot control what is happening on the outside. That's why I used it as a storm. There is always going to be something happening that is out of our control. But what we really want to focus on here is the inside, right? Is the inner flame, is the fire that we have burning inside, what we want to really focus on, because that's what we have control over, okay? So we don't have control over the outside situation, we don't have control over the storm, we don't know when it's going to start, when it's going to end, we just accept how it is. But on the inside, we can make ourselves warm, we can figure things out, we can make the fire burning, because we control the situation inside. So on the inside, we have some sort of control. So like I said, we don't have control over the outside situation, outside circumstances, other people, situations, any of those things. But we have control over our inner circumstances, of our inner feelings, of our inner being. So if our inner being of the flame the inside of us is burning. So we have control over that. So we can make ourselves warm, we can put out the fire, we can keep it burning, we can make it bigger. We have control over the inside of us, and that's the whole point, right? So what I wanted to say with these two situations here, the slide is called the outside because the outside is what we are trained to believe as a truth. We are trained from the very young age to accept the outside as the truth, as the proof of something. So if someone is looking at life and they are looking only on the outside, they're always going to perceive the storm, the outside, the things out of control, and they are never going to feel like they are in control. They are always going to feel at the mercy of this storm, right? So in a way, anyone who is looking at life from the perspective of looking at the outside is literally at the mercy of the storm happening. But the people who understand that they have the control and they have the knowing and the understanding of what is happening on the inside, they have the power over the flame inside of them, they will not be controlled over the circumstance. They will not lose their self because some storm is happening on the outside, because they understand and they know that they are in control of the inside of them. Like I said, there's always going to be something happening on the outside that it's out of our control, but the inside, we always have control of that. Okay, so let's remove that. Now I want to talk a little bit about the meaning that we make about situations. So let's talk about that. Here we always have options. So first I would love to draw for you these two boxes so we can put it into perspective. So we have these two boxes, and here is some sort of situation. This could be any sort of situation that you are finding yourself right now. Okay, I'm going to give you a clear example of what I mean, and I'm going to give you my own example so you can understand what I mean by that. So this is a situation that you are, let's say, finding yourself in. And this situation in our head, in our perception, we immediately put a meaning to that situation. We assign a meaning to that situation. And in this case, I assigned it as a failure. Let's say I assign in my situation that I am currently working in a full-time job. And I assign this as a failure in my case because I was trying to build my business, I was trying to build my own thing, I was doing my own thing for a long time, and something happened, I had to accept a job, and immediately in my head I assigned meaning to that meant that I failed, okay? Failure. So for me, the situation, accepting a job, temporary job, let's say, for me, I assigned it meaning about myself that I failed. Why is that my situation? Why is that the meaning? Because in my case, I was trying to build something different, right? I was decided that I'm not going to go back to the job, that I'm going to build my own thing, that I'm going to make money out of it, and that I'm going to do it much faster than it was happening. So my mind automatically, immediately assigned myself the meaning, assigned the meaning of the situation and this job as a failure. Why? Because I had some sort of idea about how it's going to go, and the moment it didn't go as I wanted it, I assigned failure. My mind assigned failure. And I want to make it very clear here. The meaning that you assign about a situation is going to define how you see yourself and how you see the world as a whole, how you see anything in your life as a whole. Let me explain. Me accepting this job, meaning I failed, made me feel really bad about myself, made me feel like I didn't make it, made me feel like I failed, made me feel like I was a disaster, made me feel like I made a mistake, made me feel like everything I did before was a mistake, made me feel like everything I was doing was pointless, because I had to accept this job, and that meant failure. But the moment I started looking at things differently, the moment I stopped assigning this failure for accepting a job, this meaning about myself and about everything else, I stopped doing that, this situation lost its charge. Okay, so the situation and the meaning we assign to a situation is the most important thing that we ever do in our life, for the sake of our human mind. Our mind works as that. Okay, our mind is a incredible machine that is working for us. But if you don't train your mind how to work for you, how to support you, how to push you forward towards your dream, towards your desires, towards what you want to be, who you want to be here, it's gonna do its own thing, and it's gonna assign meaning and assign perception and perceived notions that you have been perceiving previously, perhaps coming from the programming, let's say. Coming from the conditioning, and coming from the previous generations, your upbringing. Okay, so all of these things are going to heavily affect you about how you view yourself, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive this situation. And let me give you a different perspective. So for me, it was a job situation, because I was trying to build something on my own, by myself, for quite a while. And having a job in my own perception, in my own mind, meant failure. But let's think about someone who has been unemployed, who didn't have money, who didn't know how to enter the working market, let's say, and who got that job. Would they view that as a failure? Of course not. Of course not. They would view it as a success. So the same situation, the exact same job, let's say, the exact same job, the exact same timing, the exact same situation, and they would view it completely differently. So the meaning that they assign in the situation is completely changed. Now they feel like they are a success, they are doing well, they are feeling good about themselves, they are feeling empowered, they are happy about that. They view the situation completely differently, right? And that's the whole point of this. The meaning we assign to any situation in our life has the most of the importance. I dare to say it's the most important thing that we assign in our mind, in our head, in our mind space, about us and about the situation. Because I took this experience as a training ground, and I took this experience and I completely changed my view. I stopped looking at myself as a failure. I started looking at things as a temporary thing, as something that is teaching me something, a valuable lesson or a valuable skills that I'm learning along the side. There is always a silver lining to anything. So the moment I stopped perceiving myself as a failure, the moment I stopped perceiving my temporary job as a failure, the whole situation lost its charge. Okay? So acceptance is something that is very important here. Okay? I want to write it here. Acceptance might be one of the most important things you can learn in your life, because whatever happened, wherever you find yourself, whatever situation you find yourself, whatever circumstances you find yourself, if you really accept it in yourself, if you really accept it, not just talk about it, not just pretend it's okay, not just try to push it, force it, change the meaning, all in all, if you really accept it, acceptance, it will really change your inner being. It will change how you feel about the situation. And I cannot stress this enough, because I am literally in that situation right now. That's why I'm talking about it. That's why I wanted to bring this up. I really wanted to bring you my own experience where I am. I don't want to be someone who is preaching something I never been through. That's not my style. So this is my current experience. And I have been at war with myself for a little bit of time when this happened. But then I completely changed the meaning. I completely changed the perspective of the situation. And I accepted it. I accepted it. This is where I am. I am here right now. So I might as well make the most of it. And I know where I'm heading. I know what I'm working towards. I know who I am. But at the same time, I don't fight with the situation. I don't try to fight the situation, make it mean something about it, make it mean like I'm a failure, make it mean that I'm a success. None of that matters. I accepted the circumstance. I accepted the situation. And that gave me an immense inner calm and inner knowing and truth about who I am and where I am right now. Because I'm not fighting every day with the circumstance. I accepted it. I know it's temporary. I know where I'm going. But at the same time, I accept it completely and fully where I'm right now. Let's remove that. And now I want to show you on a bit of a different example of what it means, what I meant with the beginning when I said about the trying and how the trying is actually stopping us from being or achieving what we really want, okay? So now we're going to be talking about the trying. And what do I mean by that? So let's draw this figure here. I know we all love my figures, so this is us, and we are kind of pissed off because we are reaching towards something. We are reaching towards something, we are trying to achieve something, okay? So this is where this something is, and it's pretty much on a pedestal, right? As you can see. I don't know if this could be represented as pedestal, but let's see. And we're trying to reach something, and I'm going to use this metaphor of money because everyone can relate to this. I guess this looks like a bag of money, does it? Could it be a bag of money? I think it could if we just, yeah, now it makes sense. A bag of money. Yes, so here we are trying to get more money, trying to earn more money, trying to reach towards money, trying to reach the money. But as you can see, we are here and the pedestal is here. The money is here on the pedestal. That automatically makes us further away from this, right? So it makes us further away. You can see, you can feel the distance. And the more we are trying, the more we are putting this thing, whether it's money, you can insert anything that you desire. Could be money, could be success, could be love. You put whatever you feel like is something that you're trying to achieve. You put it on the pedestal. And I'm gonna make it green because why not? So this is the pedestal that we put money on, but like I said, you can put there love, success, validation, affection, whatever you are trying to achieve right now. So the trying, what is important to understand here is that whenever you try, even the word trying, and I had a similar video about this before if you want to go back, but whatever you are trying to achieve, trying to do, trying to get, you are distancing yourself energetically. You are creating this distance between you and the desire. You are automatically putting that something on the pedestal. That means you are here. You are here, and that something is here, so you cannot reach it where you are right now. But that's a lie, okay? That's a lie. I want to tell you right now, because this is just a concept created in our mind. And when you self-create this concept for yourself, you are separating yourself from that so-called desire. What we need to understand here is that the more you try, the further away your desire is going to drift apart. So what we want to do is to understand that we are on the same level. We need to stop putting things, desires, whatever needs, goals on a pedestal, but understand that we are on the same way. We are here and this is here. We cannot make it above us, because then it's going to be very, very hard to reach. It is on the same level. Here you are operating from a belief. Let's write it here. Belief. You are operating from the belief, whatever it is. In this case, it's money. You need to get it, and you need to get it in a way that you don't already have it in you. Okay? So what this getting this requires, the belief is that you do not already have it inside of you. And if you have this belief, you're gonna be splitting yourself and separating yourself from that desire. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you push, trying. You have this belief that in order to get this, you need to do something, you need to achieve something, you need to get somewhere, you need to bridge this gap between where you are and where you want to be. You are always separating yourself in time and space. So this is always going to be there, in front, instead of being here. Okay? We get a little bit esoteric here, but you get the point. If you believe that you do not already have what you need, what is necessary, what is required for you to get this chunk of money, let's say, then you're always going to be reaching towards something. You're always going to be putting it on a pedestal. You're always going to be feeling like it's not there yet. So no matter if you move here, you're still going to be reaching towards this. And now we want to mention the truth. Okay, so the truth. And you might remember this from my previous video, but since it's the truth, it's always gonna come up. And I'm gonna draw here the brain. I did it in my previous video. So the brain, now I know kind of how to draw it. Excuse me if it's not up to your standards, but this is the brain over here. And the body. So body is gonna be as per usual, is gonna be our heart, because that's how we represent it here. And I think it deserves to be read. This is the mind. Yes, this is the mind, and this is the body, right? The mind, like I always repeat and like I'm always saying to you guys, the mind is a powerful tool, but it is a tool. So sometimes the mind is full of noise every single day. So basically it is full of noise. So when we want to find the truth about who we are, about the world, about anything, we want to really look at the body. And I know this might sound a bit cliche, but that's the truth, right? So the truth is inside of the body. You will always find the truth inside. You will always find the truth inside of your body. It's not going to be your logic, it's not going to be the wisdom, it's not going to be the things of your mind, because the mind can serve you up to a certain point, but when you want to really look for the truth, you are looking towards the body. The meaning of that, why am I bringing this up, how you can actually access the truth, all of us have different ways of how to do that. For some of us it's going to feel very unnatural, because like I said, we are very logical being. Most of us, we are very much focused on the mind. The schooling systems most of us went through was very much focused on the mind, on the logic, on the understanding, on the science. But the truth of this universe is hidden in the body, and you will need to find your way how to access that truth in your body. So it's going to be individual, but for example, for me, I find the truth when I really connect to myself. I find it in music that I enjoy, in a movement, when I start dancing, and I allow my body to move in a way that I'm not thinking about it, I'm not performing, I'm not doing it for anyone else, it's just simply me connecting to my body. That's how I get to this truth, right? So this is my own personal way how to do that, and you will have your own personal way. And for many of us, will find it in a flow state. And how you will get to that flow state, again, it's up to you. Some people will find it when they are drawing something. Some people will find it in a movement, like I said. Some people will find it by producing something, some sort of arts, some sort of connection. It is very individual, but when you reach the point where you are not really thinking about what you are doing, you are not really considering how it looks, what you are doing, how you are doing it, or just doing it for the sake of doing it, and you get to the state where your mind is not overthinking, where your mind is not noisy, where your mind is not giving you answers, where your mind is not giving you things to do, that's how you enter the flow state. And that's how you will be able to actually get to many conclusions to your problems as well, right? So there is this notion, there is this kind of ironic way which happens when we are overthinking about our problems. So again, we are in the mind, noise, overthinking. Has it ever happened to you that you were so focused on the problem, the issue that you had in hand, and you were like, I need to figure it out, I need to figure it out. You were breaking your mind, you were trying to figure it out so hard, you were overthinking it by trying to figure it out so hard, and you couldn't figure it out for the sake of it. And then when you finally drop it because a friend called you and invited you for a walk or for a dinner or something, or you went for a walk, or you just literally removed your mind from the problem at hand and went to do something different, like I said, for example, you hang out with a friend, or you went for a walk, or you went to walk your dog, or you went to visit your neighbor, and you completely changed the topic, changed the environment, changed the way. You were not even thinking about your problem. Maybe it was the back of your hand, but you were not thinking actively about it. That's when the solution came to you. Has it ever happened to you? Because it happens to me all the time. Okay, so the more I obsess about problem, the more I obsess about solution, the less I am seeing that solution, because I am so heavily focused on that. And when I remove my energy, when I remove my focus on that problem, and I do something else, seemingly, the subconscious mind is working in the background, the mind is working in the background, and it's finding solution, because that's what the mind does. When we connect to our body, when we connect to the truth, we find the answers and we find the solutions, okay? So that's how it happens. I don't know if it ever happened to you. I would love for you to share in the comments if you ever had a similar situation, but it happened to me over and over again. And of course, like we human beings always forget about it. We are trying to figure it out, then we finally drop it again. And then we figure it out, and again we will do it next time. So if that's you, I want to remind you, if you are currently struggling with some sort of solution, if you are trying to find so hard the solution to your situation, try to go for a walk, try to call your friend, try to do something completely different, make a meal, cook something, dance, try to move around, and you might connect to the truth, to your body, and you might find a solution. Okay, so let's remove this. I mentioned before the very important part of this process when you are looking at certain situation or going through something and you are changing your perspective about situation, and that was acceptance. So I would love to go a bit deeper in that. So let's write it down. Okay, so why is acceptance so important, and what does it actually mean? So this is the surface, okay? Of certain situation, of certain happening. It goes up and down, in and out. It's very much changing all the time. But what's underneath is very much a straight line. So what is underneath is very much a straight line. Underneath is a straight line. And here we have the surface. The total acceptance of the situation is the key here. Whatever you are going through right now, whatever is happening in your outside world, it might look very rocky, it might look very unsteady, unstable, all of that. So that's the surface. You're gonna see that, you're gonna feel that, that's the surface. But if underneath you manage to get to the point of complete acceptance, I think this needs to be, if you manage to completely accept the situation, whatever it is, however it looks on the surface, you understand the basic truth, the simple fact that underneath it doesn't mean anything. Like I was saying about our perception, about our view, about the meanings that we assign, we do that, okay? So no one else, I mean as a collective we do that as well, but no one from outside can actually make anything mean about you, right? Only you can allow that meaning to touch you or to not touch you. So if you lose a job, let's say, different example, if you lose a job and you make it mean about yourself, it's gonna look rocky, it's gonna go down here, you feel like a failure, then the meaning of that is gonna be failure. You feel really bad about yourself, you are down here. And perhaps other people will also see that way. But if you accept the situation, if you understand, okay, this is happening for some different reason which I'm not understanding right now at this point, but I know it's happening for me and I'm accepting this completely. I know something better is coming for me. I know this is happening for a reason. I know who I am. No matter what is happening on the surface, or no matter what's happening on the outside, I know who I am. Underneath, you are steady. You are steady because you know who you are. Okay, so you know who you are. This is when you understand and accept the situation, the circumstance, the happening, whatever is happening, you know who you are at your core, at your being, okay? So at your core, you know that. You know the truth. You are connected to the body. You know the truth. And the truth is simple. You know who you are. And no matter what's happening on the surface, it cannot touch you. Because you accepted the situation, you accepted the meaning, you didn't assign the meaning, you are not trying, you are not at war with yourself. So here you are at war. You are literally at war with yourself. You are literally at war with yourself because you are fighting the situation, you are fighting the meaning, you are bending the meaning, you are changing the perspective. All of these things you are doing, you are putting a lot of effort, you are trying to make it mean something, not to mean anything. But the acceptance is simple. You know who you are, you accept the situation, you accept the circumstance, you know who you are at your core, you know the truth underneath. You are not fighting anymore, you are not even fighting with yourself. You accept completely where you are right now. And that's powerful. That's so powerful. See, it's so powerful, it's so steady. Nothing can rock you, nothing can move you. That's the power. I want to put it here as well. It's okay, that's power. It's not power, it's power, right? It's power. If you get to this point, you have so much power, my friend. You will be untouchable. because nothing can literally touch you, because you know the truth. You are steady. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can move you. You know who you are at your core. You know the truth. Okay, let's remove this as well. We are getting back to the same point, which is the most important thing of all, and it's the truth. And I want to do it very nicely here for you. So first, I'm gonna write it. So this is the truth. The truth is here. And now, based on everything we talked about in this video, we're gonna be doing the layers. So we have the story. That's the second layer. Then we have the circumstance. And then we have the role right here, okay? And maybe we can just change the circumstance. Is gonna be this color. Just to differentiate it. It's not important, but I want to differentiate it. So today I feel like colors, a lot of colors, so gonna listen to the nudge. So roll is here, and the truth, of course, is gonna be right here. So the role is what you are doing currently, for example, your job, and it's the outer form of who you are right now. Okay, so that's the role. So the circumstance is what's currently happening in your life and whether it looks good or bad. Okay, so it's the collective meaning that we assign. And now here comes the story. The story is all our beliefs, all the meaning, all the things that I was talking before, how we make it mean something about ourselves. So this is the important thing that we actually have here. It's not about the role, it's not about the circumstance. Something is happening there, our job, our thing, we got fired, we got hired, doesn't matter. Those are the things, those are just happenings there. It's the role, the circumstance. But the story that we assign, to that certain happening, to that certain circumstance, is gonna make and define our belief about ourselves, about the world, about everything else. And at the same time, we have to realize that it's only the story, okay? It's only the meaning that we assign to the thing, to the happening, to the circumstance, to the role. It's only the story in our mind, in our head. No one outside is thinking, oh, she did this, that must mean that about themselves. Yes, there's a lot of people who are going to make those assumptions, but does it really matter? I don't think so. To some people, it matters a lot. But to you, I hope it doesn't, because you know that underneath all of this, the role, the circumstance, the story, the meaning you assign, is one simple thing, and that's the truth. And the truth is always there. The truth is not gonna move. It's the center of this. It's the center of you. It's the center of the universe. The truth is always there. It's steady. It's not moving. It's not shaking. It's just there. It's not fighting. It's not trying to make itself known. It's not trying to be accepted. It's not trying to make it loud. It just is. The truth is always there, and the truth is always available to you, to any of us. So no matter what circumstance you're going through right now, no matter even the role you are playing right now, no matter the story you assign to it, when you look, really look deep down, when you look underneath all of this, you find the truth, and the truth is the only thing that matters, the truth of who you are, the core of who you are. And that is never going to be defined by any of those things, by not the story, not the circumstance, not the role. Those are temporary. All of these are temporary. You can change them, you can remove them, you can reframe them, all of this. But the truth is always there. So what I mean by this, I hope you understand, is that no matter what's your current situation, no matter what you are trying to do, trying to achieve, how much you're trying to make money, what you are trying to be, who you are trying to be, your identity, any of that, underneath is the simple truth. And I want you to always remember that and always understand it, always come back to that truth of who you are. And that it's unshakable. Nothing of the outside can ever change that. And if you allow the story, if you allow the meaning of something that happened to you or didn't happen to you, what you wanted to happen, make it mean something about you. You start twisting the truth, you start lying to yourself about who you are not. This is not the way to go, because the truth is simple and it's always there. It's not to be lied with, it's not to be changed, it's not to be bent. It's just the truth of who you are. It's the truth of who we all are, and we need to remember that, and we need to access that. Okay? How are you going to access that? Like I was saying on the previous slides, you can access it by doing some sort of movements like I do, or entering the flow state, doing different things. Journaling, maybe it's journaling for you, writing, arts, any of those things. But access the truth in your body. Like I was saying again, it's in the body, it's not in the mind. I don't have any kind of methods that you can follow to get to this. But like I was saying in this video, and I know and I believe that if you've been truly listening, paying attention to what I was saying, you already know that. You don't need to go meditate, you don't need to go journal, you don't need to access it by any sort of way. You already know that. You already know that. And this is not to undermine any of those practices. They are very helpful, and obviously I'm not telling you not to do that. If that's helpful, of course do that. If you feel like that, of course do that. If it helps you, of course do that. But just to conclude this video, you don't need any outside factors, any outside circumstances, any outside roles to define the truth for you, because you know the truth deep down underneath. You already know it, and you just need to access it, and you know exactly how to do that. You don't need me to tell you that. But if you've ever get yourself to this space where you really could hear that truth, where you really could access that truth, I would love to hear from you in the comments, to share with us and share your experience. Thank you so much for being on the channel, and I will see you in the next video.